Welcome back to Marketing Champions here on Daily Ad Brief. I'm Howard Walpoff, your host. Again, we're talking about marketing with marketing experts from around the country. And today we're in Wilmette, Illinois with Cheryl Berman from Unbundled. Cheryl, welcome to our conversation today.
Well, thank you. Good to be here.
Well, we are glad to have you here with us and really looking forward to learning more about you. So why don't you share with us how you got started within the marketing industry?
Oh, wow. A long time ago, I started out at Leo Burnett as a copywriter. I was 21 years old. My uncle gave me a job 3 weeks before at his newspaper because I was a journalism graduate from the U of I. He fired me 3 weeks later and said, if you really want to, be a writer, you should be in advertising, because he didn't really feel like I was telling the truth as much as it needed to be told at a newspaper. So advertising turned out to be a great career for me.
And Leo Burnett was really a great place for someone to start their career at. So you really had a nice opening into your industry and the things that you've been doing. So how did you get from Leo Burnett to Unbundled?
Yeah, well, I spent over 30 years at Leo Burnett, so that's and went from a junior copywriter to chairman and chief creative officer, which was Leo's old job. So pretty amazing to make it to the top of the company. I was first woman on the board of directors there, so it was quite a career. I'll be honest, it was bought by Publicis, and it was no longer the same agency. I spent several years trying to think maybe it was the same agency, and then I left. And when I left, I had learned so much at Leo. I mean, it was a phenomenal time and a phenomenal career. We had, clients you can't even, you couldn't put together a better list of clients if you tried. I was able to work on United Airlines and Disney and McDonald's and Hallmark and Nintendo and Allstate, just amazing things. And one of the things I really learned is if you don't know who your brand is, it's really hard to go and do phenomenal and wonderful creative or marketing or anything. And I think not enough brands know who they are. And, you can always do some type of creative commercial or video or, post, but if you know who you are, it's going to make a huge difference. And so when people started coming to me, I started Unbundled because people were coming to me, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do that? And I would always say, let's do some branding first so we know who we're doing this, that, and whatever for. So that's kind of how everything started. And the branding I work on, I'll be honest about it, the method comes from Leo, from actually our really amazing relationship with Disney. We were one of the first agencies that Disney had ever had, and I ran the new business pitch with another woman that got us that business. And so, about 15 years of Disney was great, and we branded everything there. So the method we used working with Disney is what's evolved to the method I use now.
Well, you've had an exceptional career and really touched on a lot of different campaigns for a number of incredible companies, and just what you've been able to obviously do for Disney and their branding. They're all about branding, so it's able to translate that for many other companies. But you make an interesting point. You really need to know who you are, whether that's as an individual or as a company, to get your branding message even started before having that conversation with an agency.
Exactly. And that's why we end up doing a lot of naming. We end up doing a lot of, we call it branding and the big idea. We do branding by the beach. You probably can't see here, but our little place here is on the beach at Lake Michigan. So that doesn't hurt. People like doing their branding here. Right now, obviously, everything is virtual.
And yes, having the right setting for branding or for anything is always a good thing. Now, you've really expanded on some of the branding story that you have in putting a book in that you've just released. And why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I ended up doing some branding for a pharmaceutical company called Pharmacyclics. And I worked with them on their branding. And, it's great to come up with a big idea for the branding. And It was a blood cancer drug that they had invented. They had sold to AbbVie for $21 billion, which I didn't even know at the time that would happen. And they said the branding was helpful. Now, I can't sit here and say it was a life-saving drug, and that's, I'm sure, why it's sold for such an amazing price, but they said the branding was helpful. This is the book, and the book is the big idea that I came up with for them, which is the magic of normal. And it really is the story of this incredible woman. I am all about women, created Women on the Rise, but this incredible woman, her name is McKee Zangina, and she was the woman behind the brand. And I don't think people realize that. And I just sent her an email at one point and said, after the sale, and said, McKee, if you ever want somebody to help you write your life story, let me know. And it was just the phrase. And she's like, yeah, I do. I do want you to do that. So it is her life story. It's the story of a woman who goes from, growing up in Iran during the Iran-Iraq War, and makes her way to the Silicon Valley. And it's really a story about family and relationships and determination and all kinds of things like that. So I think it's a very inspiring story for people and startups and just anybody who thinks, I don't know if I can do this, and you know what, you probably can.
Well, I sense that getting words of wisdom from you that I'm sure are part of this story that she lived through and tells in her book is great for startups and those who don't think they can to really get inspired. So we appreciate you sharing information about the book, and really appreciate you coming on today to share even a touch of your career and the things you've done for some remarkable companies. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, you're very welcome. And, here's to, other people. We rise by lifting each other. So I just, wish our whole industry great success in this new year.
Well, thank you for that. And really thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us as well. We get to speak to a lot of remarkable people on Marketing Champions, but someone with this type of background and this type of experience within the marketing industry really is incredible. And we're so fortunate to have spoken to Cheryl today. And we only touched on barely enough of what she's done within her career for these different companies. But check out more information about Unbundled here on Daily Ad Brief. And go out, have a great rest of today. And we'll see you next time on Marketing Champions.
Simplify presents Addressable CTV, combining the power of TV with the targeting and attribution of digital. Simplify's Addressable CTV delivers massive reach with the ability to scale without sacrificing precision. TV buyers can generate incremental reach with household-level targeting, frequency controls, reporting, and insights. To learn more about Simplify's Addressable CTV and what it can do for your clients, visit simply.fi.